Hi, hello. My name is David Lane. I'm a partner and technical director at LGT Vestra, and I work a lot with entrepreneurs and their financial planning. One of the things I really wanted to talk a little bit about today is the nature of making good financial decisions, because we all have to do it in some shape, way or form, whether we're going to buy a house or we're going to invest in something. It's how you make those decisions, and I suppose a little bit more interestingly, what forms your financial personality, if you like. We all talk about what our personality is. Well, we have a financial personality, and there's lots of academic work around what drives us in terms of making investments, whether we're natural risk takers or not, and what risk means to us in terms of investing our hard-earned assets. So there's a few things I think in terms of thinking about when you are looking to make an investment or making an investment decision, in terms of being very honest with yourself and trying to work through what is your financial personality. And there's a number of things that you need to think about in regards to that. The first, I think, is really to try and understand what goal you're looking to reach, what's your objective, what's the ambition or the aspiration you're looking to achieve, and over what time scale, and so on and so forth. So trying to crystallize and very clear focus in terms of what you're looking to achieve and how you're going to achieve it and over what time period. And that could be looking to save money for a new business acquisition, new house, retirement, it could be anything. The second thing is to really understand what will be driving you in terms of risk. And risk is quite a three-dimensional piece of work, really, which you need to think about in terms of what risk means to you. So, for example, people talk about your risk profile. Now, what that means is, well, what level of return do you need over a period to hit the objective that you're looking to hit? So, for example, do you need to invest in risk-free assets? In other words, you can reach your objective by simply having your investment purely in cash or something equivalent to. So there's no real risk in terms of your capital, because you can essentially reach your objective without actually taking any meaningful investment risk. Or do you actually need to think about because there's a shortfall, actually you getting your money to work for you? In other words, you need a return over and above the risk-free rate. And you need to think about that. And if there is a shortfall, are you going to make that up by adding additional monies, or are you looking for more return? And return and risk, higher risk assets potentially drive higher returns. But that leads me on to the next point, is in terms of your capacity for loss. And that really is all about, well, what happens to you and your lifestyle, say, if, for example, you don't reach your objectives because the levels of return have been not as high as you were expecting, or indeed at some point in time, because things have not gone your way, you've experienced what was known as a permanent loss of capital destruction. And how would that impact on your life? So your capacity for loss is also another thing to think about in relation to working through your risk profile. The other thing to consider is your emotional approach to risk. And this is something slightly more different, in as much that what you need to think about is, what would your emotional response be if you were to lose money, and how much money? So, for example, many people, myself included, we have almost like a bookkeeping approach. We have an account for this and an account for that, and we have longer term savings. And therefore your emotional response, for example, would maybe different to losing money in, say, a fund that's you put money away for emergencies, to a fund that you've got a much longer term piece of planning in place for, say, retirement. And so your emotional response, and therefore perhaps where and how you would invest in those different pots, will be very different, and that's governed by your emotional response to the kind of planning and the objectives that you're looking to put in place, and the timescales that you're working towards. So there's lots to think about when you're looking to put together a coherent plan for your investments or your business or whatever it may be. Think about the risk that you're taking, but think about it in a three-dimensional way. Think about what you're looking to achieve and the returns you're looking to receive, over what time period, what your capacity for loss is if something goes against you, and also what your emotional response would be in relation to losing money. And I think that's a really important part of the whole question of how you manage your personal finances.